Awesome. Leonid, it's a pleasure to meet you, and I've been looking forward to this conversation, to chatting with you specifically. I have an interest in cybersecurity. As you know, the more I see AI development, I'm very surprised that I'm not hearing more about cybersecurity and the role that AI is playing in there. So excited to get your opinions and thoughts and feedback. But before we hop into that, I want to learn more about you. Tell me about you. Tell me about where you're at right now. Tell me the time in Japan, and what kind of got you to Japan in the first place.
So yeah, basically, like, my story started in Russia. So I originally from Russia. So I've been studying financial intelligence, which is a mix of cybersecurity and data analytics, which got me into AI scene as an early adopter, and into cybersecurity field as well. So I was always like a big fan of CTFs and played CTFs. I was head of my college team, playing CTF as a group. So it was very fun experience. And I actually wanted to incorporate into some sort of a product eventually. And I'm also a big fan of video games. So that's what brought me to Japan. I'm a big fan of like Metal Gear, Final Fantasy, played like a lot of Japanese games, and I really like the Japanese game design philosophy. So that was what initially brought me to Japan. I was actually trying to get a job out of college. I was trying to get a job in a video game firm, but I was offered a position as a consultant, a technical consultant, and I thought I like relocate to Japan, see how it goes from there, and I ended up working with IBM. Basically, 2 years I worked in banking sector in IBM, helping with cybersecurity and infrastructure projects. Eventually, I moved to Ericsson, and then I moved to another startup as a head of AI. And at this point, I thought like that I can basically contribute more than just being an employee in a company. So I thought that I start my own cybersecurity company, which became Luminari. Before that, I actually organized a meetup in Tokyo for cybersecurity professionals. So hosting like basically biannual conferences for cybersecurity professionals to talk about different topics on cybersecurity, around cybersecurity, and giving like some information on the topics around this. And when I started my company, it's naturally integrated into part of my company portfolio. So it became a part of our product, which is Luminari Conference right now. And we initially started with cybersecurity consulting. We consulted companies on how to adopt safe systems, and especially focusing on data and AI sector, helping integrate safety in the AI domain. But we always wanted to build a product. And this video game background that I have, it came back to basically the product that we are doing, which is Luminari. It's our gamified cybersecurity simulator to teach employees and school students about cybersecurity in a video game format. Basically, it's a playable experience where you go through the story of an actual cybersecurity league and try to decide how you act in the specific moment, how you adapt to the conditions and environment. And this helps you understand how the cybersecurity affects your company or your college or your school, and basically teaches you the basics of information security.
Nice. Now, excuse my ignorance, I'm no cybersecurity expert. What I do know is, there's different fields within cybersecurity. There's red shirt, blue shirt, ethical hacking. There's so many different fields. Which kind of area of expertise would you say Luminari kind of focuses on?
So we are actually like a mix between what we call like a purple shirt, basically. Basically, it's a mix of red teaming and blue teaming. So when we come to a client consulting area, we are actually red teaming and helping the company adapt to the external attacker do penetration tests, see how the system adapts to external attacker. But when it comes to our education, we are actually focusing on blue teaming like most of the time. It's mainly our current system is based around average employee everyday like life and everyday like activity, and going through the traditional like basically like everyday tasks to see how he adapts to an actually ongoing threat of an actual attack. So it's basically like blue teaming from the education standpoint.
I like it. Perfect. Talk to me about, I'd be very interested to hear how cybersecurity is different from where you started in Russia to now in Japan. I know, from the software developers I've talked to in Japan, especially the gaming industry tends to be on the forefront of like software development techniques where, some firms in Japan will still kind of pay by the line of code, which is like not always the best, which especially if it's cybersecurity leaves them open to more vulnerabilities. But it's also, not the most efficient way to write clean code for, most optimization. Whereas the video game industry in Japan tends to be a lot more on the forefront of, no, we need cleaner code so the game can run better. How are you seeing some differences in maybe Russia versus Japan, or maybe like Japanese video game development versus everyday, software development in Japan when it comes to cybersecurity?
When it comes to cybersecurity, I feel like Russia is a lot more advanced from Japan because of the basically a better college degree and like basically better college base of like future employees. There is like a big focus on, because of all the defense and like military focus of Russia, there's a big focus on cybersecurity domain, and big banks have a very capable cybersecurity team. In Japan, I feel like it's very spotty depending on like what sector you're in. So some of the companies are very well adapted. So like I know like by experience, like a company like Yahoo, which is to me was a surprising company for Japan. Like I didn't know it was a Japanese company, but I like coming to Japan, I learned about Yahoo, and their cybersecurity team is like very good. I actually spoke to a couple of people from the team, and they like handle like their information security policies like very well. But especially like in the startup sector, there's still a lot of catch up to do on Japanese side. So a lot of startups treat cybersecurity as an afterthought. And I would feel like it's more of an immediate threat because like most of the startups these days are working with data, and data is basically your value. So your startup value is like your data, and basically how you protect your data is how you protect your value. So it's very important to step up and improve your security policies. So unfortunately, not a lot of companies in Japan like think this way, and we are the ones that like want to change this and to introduce more stricter security policies and better security practices to average Japanese startups and companies in general.
So on that same note, let me ask you this: what keeps you up at night? What kind of scares you in the cybersecurity world today? And I think we're still in May 2026. Yeah, we're still in May. What scares you about that? Because I think last year I had a family reunion with my family, and we got to sit down with my grandfather and my dad and uncles, and I got to explain, like I showed him a video, and I said, this was completely AI generated, and this was a year ago. Of like, if you didn't look too deeply, you couldn't tell that like the bottle was misspelled, the writing on there. Or, for half a second somebody had a sixth finger. So it's just small things that now today are fixed, or mostly fixed. And you're like, listen guys, if you ever get a call and it's my voice, like here's how you validate that it's me. If you ever get a video and it's me, here's how you validate it. Like, we need to have some sort of safeguards that are not online, that are not, written on your phone where somebody can take. But like, here's the way to like make sure that my identity, and having this YouTube channel is great, but it's also put a bunch of my face, my voice online. So now anybody can take that if they wanted to. I'd be interested to hear, everybody knows the big models of the Claude, the GPT, the Geminis, but there's plenty of other models out there that are already capable of doing other things that have less restrictions on them. What kind of scares you today about the current state of AI and how that affects cybersecurity?
Yeah, so basically, you already kind of answered the question. So AI is a big factor in the today's cybersecurity world. So actually, from experience, 65% of attacks happen from a social engineering standpoint. And especially today, a lot of attacks are kind of augmented with AI, basically using AI to simulate a voice, an image, a video of a person. And I'm actually currently working with several organizations here in Japan. I'm helping bring AI safety organizations such as Tara to Japan and to promote AI safety culture here in Japan. So, and looking at the frontier networks and basically neural networks that are deployed at the frontier, there's still a lot of vulnerabilities that can be executed, and you don't even need a model that's run locally, a specified let's say Chinese models DeepSeek or Qwen. Qwen is a popular model for basically running locally. So you even can actually bypass the safeguards of frontier model, which is a very big oversight, I think, in today's safety world. And I would basically advocate for more access to LLMs. I would like to have frontier labs such as Anthropic and OpenAI to involve more cybersecurity researchers in their testing. I know Anthropic did this with Mesos recently. They did a very good cybersecurity testing program for red teaming the new Mesos model. But still, there's ways to go for collaboration between cybersecurity labs and frontier AI labs. And I think that's a big topic that needs to be discussed and needs to be a focus of attention. Everyone should do more, basically. The governments should do more, frontier labs should do more, and basically international organizations should do more about AI safety. Because AI is a tool that can be used to hack your system, and it can find the ways that an average attacker can't even think about. Sometimes they can discover approach that is completely unknown to an attacker and build a strategy around it to infiltrate your system and hack your basically any system, be it cloud or on-site, basically on premises. Actually, that's another topic, is basically people think a lot that on-premise LLMs, basically if you deploy it on-premise, it's very secure, but the recent research shows that it's not that secure because it doesn't get frontier patching that often, and the systems basically become vulnerable to attacks.
A lot of good information to know. Nice. Wanted to we could probably stay on the cybersecurity part, forever and scare a lot more people. But I wanted to switch gears a little bit more to focusing on Tokyo. Since you've been there, for a while, I think you said since 2018, right?
Yeah, so 2019.
2019, yeah. So you've been there, almost, 7, 8 years now. I can't do math in my head quick. It's a problem.
Yeah, it's 7 soon, so it's all good.
He's a dollar sign for me to understand it. So, since you've been there, how has the cybersecurity scene changed in Tokyo? And then how has the community in Tokyo kind of helped, build up your company now?
So basically, there is like a growing community of cybersecurity professionals. So a lot of them are expats that come to Japan basically to work on systems and improve systems. There's a big community of different entrepreneurs from different walks of life. I know there's a community of American entrepreneurs, of Israeli entrepreneurs that basically come to Japan and build programs, build companies, and it's slowly growing. I would like for it to grow more than it is right now. So I want more people get involved in cybersecurity, but people understand that it's a big threat to basically work on, and people need to focus on it. And the understanding is there, and the community is slowly building up. So hopefully it's going to grow more soon, and more companies, especially startups, grow up from cybersecurity community.
I hope so too, and I hope to get to go to one of those meetups one day soon when I'm in Tokyo. Perfect. Last kind of topic I wanted to touch on, I told you before, a lot of my audience is very early stage founders and even some of my former university students. On the business side of Luminari, what's one piece of advice you would give for any early stage founder who's just starting off their business or still at the idea stage?
Yeah, basically, I think from my experience, you always have to work on your runway. Basically, your runway, the thing, when you think it's going to hit off, it's never going to be that point of time. So you always plan ahead. You think it's going to hit off in 6 months, plan ahead, say 12 months. So always have this basically runway available to you that you can exploit and basically use to improve your business. So
yes. All right, we're gonna add a new acronym, ABP, always be planning.
Yeah.
Well,
so always planning, it's the first thing. It's always work on your plan. Basically you build your runway, you build your plan, you think it's 6 months, take this safety, take plus 6 months to this, and you are golden.
Yeah, good to know. I think especially whenever it comes to fundraising, and I think especially in today's economy or market, when it comes to fundraising, one piece of advice we always give is whatever you think it's going to take, add an extra 3 to 6 months on top of that for length of time, especially if you're raising around, I think 2020, 2021, when there was so much money everywhere and everybody was raising.
Yeah,
it was easy. You could afford to wait till the last minute to raise that next round if you had the right metrics. Now, if you want to stand out, you have to not only set goals before, achieve those goals, and then still have enough runway to make all the meetings, set the connections, and then do the due diligence before you raise the next round, so you don't die before you raise it. So it really is an interesting time. That's more specifically raising rounds, but I think what you're more talking about is planning as you progress your company and reaching different milestones. So awesome, Leonid. It's been a pleasure talking to you today. Where's the best place that people can connect with you if they want to learn more about Luminari and cybersecurity?
Yeah, basically LinkedIn. We have a pretty big and growing community on LinkedIn. We have our website at luminari.jp. We're going to announce our next conference event there as well. So it should be around August. We have it on site and online. So it's basically all of this is recorded, all of our conferences are recorded. So you can actually rewatch and see all the presentations. So either LinkedIn or luminari.jp.
Perfect. I will put that all in the description when we post this on LinkedIn. And whenever you post more content on LinkedIn, make sure to tag me so I can reshare it and get the word out more.
Sure.
Perfect. Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it. Hope you have a good night and get some sleep.